Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is. Woo! Whoa, Starlight, slow down. I did. So here we are. Listen. We're out in nature. You don't know what you're missing unless you're out here with Starlight. So anyway, I love you so much, and anyway, I love you so much, and I hope you're getting out in nature like Starlight is. And I have a little treat for you, and it's not tricks or treats. No, it's just treats. This time, no sweets though. So I don't know how far it is on this trail, but I was here this morning. I'm like, wow. So yeah, Starlight decided I want to come back out here. It is so beautiful. And so anyway, thank you for all of you. Yes, you, for being here, loving and supporting Starlight. And those of you who leave a comment or subscribe or give me a thumbs up or share my videos. Don't forget the notification bell. And I also want to tell you, in case you didn't know, you're doing better than you think. So stop beating yourself up. Stop thinking that you're not doing enough. You are beautiful just the way you are. You're doing enough. And don't worry about what other people think. And besides that, any of you that would love to send any love donations through my Cash App, you can, and I will have that information here. Ping! There it is. And before I start this video, hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you could give my videos a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, don't forget the notification bell, and you can leave me a message down below, beep, 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 and you can share my videos with your family or friends. Plus, don't forget my playlist, and you can also find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. Alright, so here we are. So don't mind Starlight. I am high as a kite. But it's not that windy out today, so I don't think that kite, you'll be running. So anyway, I love you so much, and today's video is to really inspire you to come on out of the house, put the excuses away and go hiking anyway. So here we go. This is, like I said, look at this. Isn't this so beautiful? Like I said, Starlight is, I don't do drugs anymore. I gave that up. But man, I am so high right now, and it's because my morning started off by getting out in the heart of nature. And what else makes Starlight feel so freaking high like a kite, and high on life? Ooh, what animal was that? Starlight's got to study that. We'll have to check that out later. Is meditations. I woke up in the morning and got out. I actually came out here, and I came out here to look for a spot in the sun to meditate. But it was really kind of hard the sun was shining through, but I wanted to face the east, wherever the sun was, and it was kind of bushy through here, so it was kind of difficult to really find a spot to put my chair. And so anyway, I was out here this morning, and wow, I'll tell you what, this place, like a foggy morning, this would be beautiful, because with the sun shining through and the fog kind of fading away. And yeah, so this is a beautiful hike. I gotta see which way. I must have came in on this. There's two paths here, so I'm hoping what I'm looking for isn't very far, because it is beautiful. Even though right now it's springtime, this morning was like Christmas at springtime. I've heard of like New York, like Of course, they got the snow, you know, Christmas in the wintertime in December, but I'll tell you what, it felt like Christmas out here in April, you know. I was like, wow. So this video is to you know, inspire everyone, is to, you know, put your excuses aside, you know. I love when I go out for a hike and I see families, people who, you know, older folks, you know, little babies, you know, with their parents, you know, doggies, you know. I've never seen a cat out in a catwalk. So yeah, it is so beautiful seeing people getting away from their computers. Look at this. Look at what you're missing, you know? And I'll tell you what, you gotta be here to see this, you know? There's people that you know, they might watch something on you know, on their TV to look at nature, but really, that ain't nothing compared to being here and being in the present moment, right out here, right now, you know, and enjoying everything that you see. And the morning time it's still beautiful here right now, but the morning time, because the way the sun was shining through, and I won't be able to show that to you now because where is the sun? Yeah, because the sun is, normally when the sun is straight up, see now, some animal did this. Starlight's got to figure out, what animal. So, because there are bears out here, that's why I say that, you know, bears. So anyway, this video, I wanted to come out here because of this. I think this is the spot where I was this morning. But the morning time when I came out here with the sun shining through, it makes a big difference. But this is my, it's a whole different ball game like when I came out here this morning, because the way the sun was shining from the east side through here. But I'm going to go in here. Well, it's hard to see it because, like I said, the way the sun was this morning, but it's still beautiful, it's like nature has a way of decorating the trees. I was like, wow, this is so freaking cool. But the morning time is so different because the sun ray was coming through the trees. I'm just watching where I'm walking. But whoopsie, is look at all these little pine needles there, and they're, you know, whoops, it's so hard to see this because I am out here, but it's like somebody came out here and decorated all trees with pine needles, and they all, like, it reminds me of Christmas. Look at this tree. It is so freaking cool. It's like somebody took tinsel, wintertime, you know, like on a fake tree or a real tree, and they just, you know, because there's these tall pine trees way up there, and all the pine needles fall down, and so, whoopsie, so all the pine needles kind of fell and landed, you know, they did like a split, like this one here. Look at this. It did like a split. I gotta watch where I'm walking because I just found out something. So it landed on that branch like that. But this is how all these trees are, is that like Mother Earth just kind of decorated these trees with pine needles. And it's so cool looking. But this morning, like I said, you know, it's one of those things. Starlight, yeah. Why didn't you make the video this morning? Well, too late for that now, is it? So I'm in the present moment. So, but I'm out here now is what matters, is I'm out here now. And I just wanted to show you how beautiful. And this morning, like I said, another thing about this morning, what was so wonderful this morning. I'm just watching where I'm walking because the information I found out this morning is the cobwebs. And like there's cobwebs here now through these trees and different places out here. But the cool thing this morning is because I don't know if I'm gonna, it's so hard to actually capture. Believe me, somebody's like Starlight has been trying to get pictures of cobwebs. I love studying cobwebs. They're so freaking cool. But all through here this morning, when the sun was shining from the sky from the east, is you could see all through here in different spots, like the spiders that have been really busy spinning their web and, getting their stuff ready so they can have, breakfast later on. Of course, now it's lunchtime. But it was so cool because all through here, they would like glow because the sun was shining through, and you could find them, it's like, wow, look at that, look at that, look at that. But right now I can't see it. So, and I don't know how long I'm going to be out here at this particular place, but this hiking trail is beautiful because this is a foot trail here. So this is really just made, for people with feet, foot trail, humans. And they actually have, and this is the orange trail. So the orange trail is for people on foot. And then they have a blue trail, and I believe the blue trail is for people on a bicycle, and then they have out here which I think is awesome. You better know what the blank you're doing on the bike when you go to some of these trails, and it does actually let you know that they out here somewhere, they look at these. Isn't this so beautiful? But see, you are just there. But like, just look at the bark on these trees. I mean, look, it says so beautiful. And I know you guys, what is that this world is, ooh, there goes a yellow-orange butterfly. And yeah, people get so locked into the things of the world that they really miss out on the beauty of Mother Nature and, Mother Earth. And just, bring your kids out. Look at this. Starlight is a fan of I love looking at pine cones and the different, this is, whoops, ah! So yeah, there's some places that I've traveled to that they were really super big pine cones, and kids love this stuff. And that's why it's so important for mommy and daddy to get used to this, even study about stuff, and the do's and don'ts. Have, be knowledgeable so when you're going out. But you gotta, what? A lot of people, they're afraid. I'm afraid, Starlights. You're out there, you say the bears are out there. Are you afraid, Starlights? No, I'm not afraid. That bear is out here, like he's out there listening to Starlight talk. It's like, I'm learning, guys. I'm just out here learning about what Starlight's talking about, huh? Starlight and I, we are buddies. I'm kidding about that. But, the bears, even though they're really big, they're afraid of us. They don't want nothing to do with us. But there are times, yes, and there are stories, when bears are super, super hungry and you're carrying food with you, they don't really know the difference. And not all the time you have to have food. It just, you never know what's going on with the bear. People get in a bad mood, maybe getting too hot and cranky or something. But, the likelihood of something like that happening, look at this. I used to do that when I was growing up. The what ifs. Shit, I would never leave my house. Like we had a lot of tall pine trees like these ones, but different. And they were all surrounding our house, I was afraid of a lot of things growing up because I didn't know any better, I slept in a one room all the way at the end of the trailer. And, every night I was afraid that one of those big trees were going to fall right in my room, I don't know why just my room. Those crows are talking out here. So, you don't want to get in that fear mode, being afraid of, hey, what if this happens? And what if that happens, You could be in your house and like, hey, what if my house burns on fire? Now, some people I do know, they do have a fear of maybe something's going to happen in their house, like a fire, because they've experienced it before. So then they take extra precautions about things in their house, you know, as far as fire safety goes. So, but those are lessons, you know, those are lessons to learn. And, you know, you don't want to live your whole life, you know, just being inside of a house and not getting out. Look at how beautiful this trail looks with the plants on the side of the trail. Look at this. I could stay out here all freaking day, which I did yesterday. So, you know, it's about letting go of fear and getting out. And this is where you can get healed. This is how you can find out, you know, more about yourself by studying the animals and, you know, learning about plants and all this stuff. And, you know, the kids, I love when I see families come out and their kids are getting right into it. They're like, wow, you know, they got past, you know, being afraid of this and that, you know, somebody was helping them through that. And they need help, you know, to, you know, at first they're like, you know, afraid of things, but a lot of times it's because somebody reacted a certain way and that fear, you know, went through them, you know, because of other people being afraid. But it's really important to get them out because, you know, it's not good to be in the house all the time. And look, you cannot, like, I'm standing here looking at my phone with my eyes, and then I look away from the phone and look at it, and I'm like, you know, it's a joke with the phone, looking at the video here, because being here in the present moment, looking at the bark, you know, look at that bark. Doesn't that look so beautiful? You know, Starlight is a nature nut, but you know, this is such a beautiful place. And so yeah, it definitely looked like Christmas out here in springtime when I came out here this morning with the sun. But because the sun, you know, is in a different, well, I guess the sun never moved, the planet is. I don't know, is that even true? I'm questioning everything. So, but look at the beautiful green, you know? It's nothing to look at have a picture on your wall. It's being here, you know, enjoying it and getting your kids used to it, you know, so then they can bring their kids out later on, you know, when they get old enough to have kids. So put all the excuses. People have all excuses, you know, and when you face your fears, God will reward you. You're like, oh, I'm afraid of this and I'm afraid of that. And then, you know, you'll be out on the hiking trail, you know, braving it. And I'm so proud of people because I've seen people on hiking trails and they stopped me and they're like, hey, did you see any of these kind of animals out there? And I'm like, no, actually I saw a raccoon. And they're like, wow, you saw a raccoon? You know, they were braving it. I was so proud, you know. I think the one guy, actually the leader of them all, you know, because the guy was acting like, you know, he's going to protect the family. But I believe he had like a stick because he was ready. But you know what? They were out there. And a lot of times we create that own fear in our imaginations. You know, when I grew up, I'll tell you what, where I lived, there was trails because a long time ago we made those trails and they went all the way out in the woods a long ways to go to the movies. If you want to go to the movies, guess what? You had to walk all the way through the woods to get there. And I'll tell you what, I was really little. I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. And my family would be all the way at the movies. And I wanted to go to the movies, but everybody was already there. So when I was little, I had to learn a lot of things. I had to learn about not being afraid of bugs. I had my brothers. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to beat them to the game. I'm going to learn to love bugs and snakes. And that's exactly what I did. And the other thing, you know, I had to walk that path, and there was a lot of bushes, a lot of noises in the woods, you know. And I just wanted to get to that movie theater, you know, that was a drive-in movie theater. And when you get all the way at the end, well, not all the way at the end of the trail, But halfway through the trails, if I get all the way from point A to B, I can get out there with my family and enjoy the fire out there and, watch a free movie for the night, But I had to let go of fear in order to get all the way there. And it was dark out. They didn't have the movies in the daytime, so I was, facing a lot of fears as a kid. And, was it scary walking there, out in the woods by myself? You bet your ass it was. But, I kept my focus, the movies, my focus was, hey, I get rewarded when I get done through all this, because then I can, enjoy the movies and jump the fence and get some popcorn. So, yeah, it's kind of funny is that we were on the other side of the fence of the drive-in theater. And all we had to do is just bring a radio with us, and we could hear the movies and have our, sit outside and watch the movies on the other side of the fence. And then when we wanted popcorn, we just jump the fence, go in there, buy some popcorn, jump back over the fence and watch a movie. Or we could just stay inside the fence, and, maybe there's people we knew in there, because a lot of people like trespassing on our land to see the movies. So, but I had to let go of fear in order to enjoy the movies. So, you'll have a surprise, and it could be a pleasant surprise, like seeing butterflies flying around, or dragonflies. Oh no, I'm scared of blood. Oh no. But you know what? The more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and you won't be so afraid anymore. It's just, step by step, like me when I was younger, walking through those trails. That's a long trip for a girl, 10 years old, walking in the dark. I even had to break the fear of what, so I'm not afraid of the dark, I got blind people in my family, so I had to learn, I wanted to learn what it was like not to see. So I'm just here, put the excuses away, I ain't got time, Starlight. Well, you know what? We make time for things that we want to make time for. Sometimes we're putting our time on things that don't matter. We're wasting our time away a lot of times by, doing things that don't matter. Starlight was doing that, smoking and getting high, and there's 3 hours or even longer, because I never really, I never timed how long it takes, to get high and how long it takes for the high to get away. And I have to say, when I did smoke, once I got settled in on a hiking trail somewhere, being out in nature was my favorite place to actually smoke and get high, because I got really in touch with nature then. So I love you all. So put away excuses. We all have them. We all have all kinds of excuses why we don't do this, and it's all good for you, like the excuses of why we don't eat healthy, why we don't exercise, why don't we, why. They're all excuses. It doesn't work with the universe. The universe wants to bless you. The universe wants to, do something to help you out. And when you let go of fear, bam, things happen. You enjoy things. And, when you get done with the walk, you'll be like, you know what? I feel so much calmer now. I feel so much relaxed. It releases stuff in your body when you get out, because you're inhaling all the good stuff out here. So anyway, I love you so much. So put away excuses. It won't work. It won't work with Starlight. And it's not going to work with the universe. The universe knows. Those are things that you created in your own headspace, thinking that there's something going to happen. Well, something could happen that you're in your house. No, Starlight, don't say that. Well, I'm just saying, things do happen. Sometimes it could be chasing you to get outside the house instead of being inside the house so much. So you definitely want to have balance, it's okay to be in the house and do things you like, but have balance, to get outside. So, you know what? Before I go and do this at the house, I'm going to go outside and listen to Starlight, because I know I will feel better. Go find some water or an ocean, a lake or something. I love water. So those are really, you don't like the sun? Go, like this is actually sun and shade. You could Google, like hiking places near me, look at the reviews. A lot of them will let you know, hey, this is a really shady hiking trail. Hey, there you go. There's a hiking trail and it's shady. So people or another thing you can do, start out early in the morning, the best time. Get right out there, beat everybody. So, they're just excuses. We can always work around things and make things happen. So I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace. Thank you for watching. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.